Jelena, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for coming to the first ever Your Sunday Coach podcast.
Yeah, congratulations for your first episode. And I'm really more than happy that I'm your first guest. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you. So, the plan today is to stay close to the 20 minutes format, just exactly how long your classes are. And actually, this is the first thing I wanted to ask you. Why 20 minutes and why Pilates?
Well, why 20 minutes? I wanted to develop one routine for every woman. You know, when I became mom, I didn't had a chance to go out, work out somewhere, to go on a class, which is every second day in one specific time. And I started to work out at home. At first, I really had just these 20 minutes when baby is sleeping or something like this, between all the things you are doing when you become mom. And then later, actually, I just continued to work out in this way. I would have a walk, I would have a run, and then I would take my mat. I never was a gym person, so always the mat was an option. And how it all started, when I was doing modeling, I always was, into the workout, and I was trying to have a routine which will brings my body to look more lean. And then one friend of my mother, she said, let's try these exercises. At first, I didn't know it's Pilates. Then later, I figure out what is the method. But to turn back on these 20 minutes, actually, I want to show people really that they can have routine, and then they can have like workout as like every day, like the time for themselves to develop the consistency and the routine they like. Because some of the women think that they have to do some hard things and work out like 1 hour to make a results. Actually, you are making results when you have a good repetition, right, of the workout and of the classes. So I wanted to show that the routine can be very easy to make. Like we all have 20 minutes, and really the people can be a little bit specific when they start, but then they are telling me that it really works for them also.
For me, it was the same, to be honest. When I started this, your program, I was a little bit skeptical, like what actually you can do in this 20 minutes. But then I also understood how
Yeah,
it
like
works.
20 minutes, come on. Like
When you do 20 minutes every day, then you understand how it really works
yeah,
for
because
your body,
the
for
point
your...
is later on, I started 2 years ago, and I am not shy anymore to say that really like big platforms like with all world is using, like millions of the people them now are making a programs like 20 minutes 5 times per week.
Absolutely.
So in that moment when I saw these people which are, which I'm looking at, like to be inspired, when I said, wow, that's it, because without the consistency, because people rather with the will not do exercise because they have to go somewhere and have to have time than to do 20 minutes. But if they try to do these 20 minutes and they stay consistent, they will have a results for sure.
And how did you discover the Pilates method? Because your program, it's based on the Pilates, right?
Well, as I told you, when I was doing modeling, I wanted to have the body, the lean muscles and to have a good posture. And in that time, I didn't felt how much this impact my mindset because, when I started to, when I became mom and when I have the job and, when life started to run a little bit faster, then I felt the impact of that body mind connection and also the results, because before I was all the time in the shape and didn't had any like challenges with my body. So after my when I gave birth, then I had really challenge with my core and with all of my body, and then I saw how much Pilates is powerful, not just itself and plus in postpartum. And then at first, actually, mom program came out, and then later the rest of the workouts.
As you know, I'm a huge fan of your program, actually. And for me, it works not only for my body, but for my mind, definitely. What you mentioned, this body and mind connection, because even it can help me to go through the foggiest of days. Did you
Yeah.
intend this program to make people feel happier? What is the philosophy behind the 8 method that you're doing right now?
For sure, yeah. I always was working out for my head. You know, when I go out from when I was young, like 20 years, I was at the gym, but also on the floor. You know, in that time, people was looking at me like the gym in that time was very like, you know, active and people was running around and on the place where I was doing the exercise, they was coming just for a little stretch, you know, and I was doing all the exercises and the workout. So I always wanted to feel good. I like energy. I like to be healthy. I like to, you know, go out from the bed and to feel that I'm ready for a day on. And this is also one more reason for these my like short workouts. Like you want to feel good every day, right? So when you develop this routine and when you first after the workout, you feel good. People are asking me when I will see a result after first workout. You know, you will feel great. You will feel great. You will stretch yourself. You will feel different. And how, you know, days are passing. You are going through all the exercises and just stay consistent. That's the point. Not just for physical results, but also to feel good. Like, and when you have consistent, of course, that's something what you will repeat every day.
And have you always been physically active and so health conscious as you are today?
Yes. Yeah. I was, again, I'm turning back to modeling because really from that time I was trying many different things. I'm making a jokes, you know, when you travel alone and when you are young, you feel many different, you know, things and you have some even bad experiences. And then you feel even in modeling, they can be very cruel. You know, they say you like you have to take off more kilos or you don't look for this show. So I always wanted to love who I am. That's, you know, that was the goal for me from my 20s. I wanted to discover who I am, what I want, how I feel about myself. And I, you know, at casting, a lot of girls come. They're more pretty than you. They have better bodies, you know, better shape than yours. And then you think, wow, you know, but I want to feel good in my skin also. So I think that modeling brought me a lot in a way of awareness of my own body, how I want to feel. I want to give good energy, you know, when I'm at a show, at a casting. But also, you know, you have a challenges. You are alone, traveling somewhere, no parents, you know, to these all experiences I think shaped me, and since my like 20s I started to read a lot about this, to discover, you know, to read all these like law of attraction or, you know, self improvement books to be the best I can.
So you mentioned this modeling experience. Would you recommend it to the young girls to try this?
Yeah,
Like looking back now, is it something
looking.
that shaped you in a good way?
Yeah, definitely, yes. I'm not sure today how things are at this like world, but sometimes I make a joke. I have a daughter, and I would not give her, you know, this experience. But for me, you know, everybody have their own stories. Maybe I was passing all these things to become who I am today. I don't know, you know, but it was like maybe 4 or 5 years.
Of
Just
experience.
yeah, and it was fine.
And I saw that your daughter, Petra,
Yeah.
sometimes she does Pilates with you.
Yeah,
So,
many times actually. Yeah.
so I want to ask you two things. At what age is it better to start Pilates? Like as young as
Yeah, as
possible?
you can, Pilates is great because it can be modified, and there are a lot of like, you know, exercises which even once I was at December, I think I wanted to give, you know, during the holidays, people wanna give something to friends, to, you know, making presents and so on, and I was thinking like this December, I said I wanna give my time to people, and I do did many different things, and one of them was I went to the kindergarten. Of course, I asked before, and I did like with two groups Pilates class, and we did some like funny things. I called every single exercise. I was connecting with some like animals, and then we was like speaking about the food, and I made a quiz for them to answer on question. And I was really surprised how kids can have like and feel all these things like very easy, and it can be also fun, and I was very happy after it. But to turn back on this your question, yeah, Pilates is great because in every age, even you have the people like 80s 90 year doing like mobility Pilates. So Pilates, for some people, I think that people can mix the way of looking at it. They can say it's just stretching, or it's just mobility, or so on. But actually, which type of Pilates and which class is for who? So it can be really like modified and made for everybody, I think.
And speaking about motherhood, how did it change you?
In a better way. I started to be more present, and I discover, when I became mom, I thought that I have to learn her, that I have to, show her things and so on. But actually, now I learn every single day from my daughter. I learn like to be more patient. I learn, I want to be, I discovered this, I want to be as better for her. And then everything is fine. When I'm fine, she's fine. You can feel that you're a mom also, and you
Yeah.
have two girls, when you are great, when you feel great, when you have then you can give your energy to kids, and kids can feel everything. I love to be a mom. I love, like time we do all the things together. And sometimes people are telling me like, why you don't bring her to the kindergarten like until 3 4 o'clock so you can have more time for yourself. No, I'm thinking like we can do everything together. Like she's going out at 12 and we do our things,
That's amazing. That's wonderful. And so now you have like a lot of roles. You're a mom, you're a professional instructor, you're also an entrepreneur because you're building your own business. How do you manage it all? Are you a solo player at your company that you're building, or you have some team working with you? Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, at the beginning, I was doing everything, because you cannot invest when you start. Like, first, I can say, if we speak about online, like, first 2 years, no earning at all. Like, I like to say this because when people start to do something, especially young people, they want to earn from the day one. They want to feel, that it's coming back. But actually, I knew that I have to go through one way, and then that I have to invest to, learn to have help later on. So at the beginning, I was solo player. I was doing everything by myself, and it was, the people was giving me a great feedbacks about the Instagram and everything, but I always want better. But even now, I'm like, it can be better, But now I have a little team, like a great, little but great team, like young people whom it's really hard to find people who can understand your vision and support that with their part, But also, like, I want to have control. At the beginning, I had the challenges. Like, I think that I can do everything the best by myself, And that's something that's a great, like, learning from, for example, 2 years ago or one even. Like, I learned that I have to give other people to do their own work, And then sometimes I can give some, like little inputs and say like, let's change this or that. But really having a great support with the people who knows exactly what you want, and even to give you some like more great ideas and to upgrade your business is a blessing, right?
And can you talk to me more about your daily routine? How does your regular day look like?
Oh, for me, the morning is the most important, and my routine is really, really important because I have many things to do during the day. If I let this my time just, flow and to try to find during the day, it's not possible. So I have to wake up before everybody and to take a shower, to prepare, to wear something I like, to feel comfortable, and then I make my hot water with warm water, actually with lemon. And then I have really a big glass of it to hydrate myself. And then I have some little things I do, like I have a little fruit or something like that. And after I have a coffee, because I never have it never, don't say never, sometimes, but I'm trying to have some fruit or something like that before my coffee, and then my time starting. Like I'm reading or I'm, trying to find inspiration for my day. Usually I know the day before what I will do tomorrow. That's a game changer for me. Sometimes I let myself like go with the flow at some Sundays, or of course when we are at the vacation. But I like to be organized. I think organization is 80% of everything, So then I have, as I told you, like a little of my time. I breathe, I focus on my breathing. I'm asking myself, how do you feel? What do you want today? Like what you want to do, what you can do a little bit better than yesterday, and so on, so on. And then I wake my daughter is waking, and the everything start the show starting.
Do you do a workout in the morning? Or it's
Well,
usually your evening routine?
at the first, I loved mornings, and still I like to do mornings. But I find it like in last like couple months, I'm working out at evening. I don't know why.
Maybe
Like
because of
maybe
the
yes, my
summertime?
rhythm is a little bit different during the summertime. That's why. So when I finish everything in evening, I go for a walk, and then after again my 20 minutes. Yeah.
And how do you recharge when you're exhausted? Do you have the days like when you're fully exhausted? Because I know that you're doing a lot of projects, you're filming online, you're doing offline classes as well. Then you have some special events, retreats. Can you imagine like the day you're the most exhausted? What would be your recharge plan?
Yeah, it depends on which way I'm feeling like this, but usually it's just solo time, just to be alone and to reflect on everything. I like to reflect and to just continue, So what I do, like I sit, I think about it. Maybe I will write in my journal. Maybe I will walk. The walk is actually it's number one. I put on my music, my list, and then I go and walk. I have feeling when I walk that everything goes out, and I like that feeling after. So even if I'm not for workout, if I go out for a walk and come back home, I will do a workout. Just I feel my old fluids started to move. I feel I'm in a better mood. And all if I have one situation before it, after I will have completely other perspective. That's it.
For you, Pilates, is it nowadays your lifestyle or it's a routine for you?
For me, the lifestyle it is. If you are asking me, is Pilates my lifestyle? It is. It's my everyday life. Yeah, it's my routine. It's something I repeat all the time. I feels good in it. And I thought, as I told you before, I thought it's all just something about myself, but actually now I see, the more women are starting, they are telling me they, for example, switch the workout from a gym, starting to do Pilates. They say, oh my god, I feel so good. And I think that we should exercise something we like, how you will repeat the exercise or workouts, which makes you, all tired after, which
Exhausted,
is
yeah.
not, you just don't feel good, especially as a woman. I remember when I go sometimes in a gym, that's because of the cardio. I do some running and then I go on the floor, but I see a woman around. I think they don't feel actually great around, all these like, of course, some
Heavy
people
metal, you mean?
heavy metal,
In the
yeah,
gym?
yeah. Of course, some people love it, but it's great then because you choose what you love. And for me, this is like low impact, and this exercise, which really like I feel all my body together. I think that's the point.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And if someone listening today hasn't tried Pilates, what would you say to encourage them to try?
Not possible that you didn't try. Yeah, I would say like start with a good technique, like 5 minutes today. Just try. And because sometimes when people try it for a first time and they don't put, all the technique on its place, they can say they don't feel it actually. That's why I'm trying to speak a lot about the principles of Pilates, because one is without, it's all the time, fun at my classes when I have beginners. And then I say, do this, that, and that. And then it's like, "Oh, then I can't." And before he could,
When you
So-
you mean when you explain the techniques?
yeah, when I'm giving the
Yeah.
explanation. So if somebody is just starting, like just take your time, listen to your body and breathe. Most of the people think that we are breathing, it's normal act. But we a little bit this like way of living. I think that we brought us to the point that we actually forgot how to breathe correctly. And I was reading a new study about the muscles on our body, and the muscles which brings our rib cage out are one of the most unused muscles on our body in today's like modern time. So we have to really understand how breathing is important. It really changed my life, and I'm using it. Even before this podcast, I was a little bit nervous, because I want to say everything what I want the best way and so on, and I was using it and I feel instant change. You can also listen to all the like professional sportists. For me, the huge inspiration is Novak, not just
Yeah, I
because
love
he is from
him. He's
our
amazing.
country, but he's really inspiration in many different ways. And he's also speaking about the breathing. You can see him on the court, like pulling out with the hands rib cage to make it more space.
I need to borrow this techniques from
Yes,
you.
to open the rib cage and to have more air in the body to use it. So yeah.
But I think after this video, it's impossible not to try Pilates because you inspire. I'm sure you inspire so many people of different age.
In Pilates, the breathing is energy. We go through every single rep with it. So it's not possible to do a workout properly if you don't breathe. So first thing what we do, we learn to breathe again.
How do you visualize yourself when you retire? Do you have an image of yourself, how you want to look?
Well, sometimes yes, for some specific things, but as old as I am, I try to be more like calm and just to try to go more with the flow, because I try to have a goals on one side. On the other one, I want to let things come to my life which they should.
Yeah, when you retire, when you get older, because remember we spoke with you before filming that our younger self is no
Yes,
longer
I
inspiring
said
us.
yes, because
Yeah, because
there is this trend with a little girl, like, look at her, she's proud on yourself and so on, like, of course, but I am more inspired of myself in my 80s, 90s, 100s, who knows, So yeah, I look at that person. I want to be healthy. I want to, feel good in my body. I want to inspire other people still to be positive, to wear like nice, bright colors, not to, it was a
Have
little
beautiful posture.
to
Yeah.
have a beautiful, yeah, it's not just about the beautiful posture. Actually, this like form of the body allows your organs to work better. So when you are older, you should do Pilates also, because it keeps your spine on a proper way and your pelvic, it's all about this. So yeah, I imagine myself not in a specific details, but I in general have this person in my head.
So
Definitely.
maybe that would be the recommendation for the young girls who haven't tried Pilates yet. That if you want to look beautiful at any age, you should start Pilates right
Yeah,
now.
sure. Now on all of the internet, when you go to internet, a lot of beautiful faces, bodies, a lot of beautiful women you can see. But actually, I'm not so inspired by them. I'm more inspired with the people in like their, as I told you, 70s, 80s. I have one beautiful client and she is almost 80 and she is that one, So these people really give me inspiration, and somehow I start to think more about this, like myself.
Elena, thank you for your beautiful energy. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
And we see you soon
Yeah, see you
in
soon.
the next episode.
See you soon. I'm happy.